Good evening and welcome. We have 7 people in the house. We have Steve Pace and Sean Raymond in the house. That's already, I mean, bloody hell, Steve Pace first in the house. Obviously, you wanted to listen to Graham. We've got Graham Allison in tonight. Graham Allison, special guest. Tracy is in the house. Good evening to you, Tracy. Anyway, I was just telling Graham about a horse I trained and bought for. Who was that girl who did? What was her name? Margot Robbie. Remember Margot Robbie?
No.
Never heard of Margot Robbie, no?
No.
Has anybody else heard of Margot Robbie? Do you know what I'm talking about? She was Barbie, wasn't she, in that film, Barbie?
Harley Quinn.
And she was Harley Quinn as well, remember? Anyway, I bought and trained this horse for her, and I named it, and she said, what a lovely name. And I don't know if anyone remembers it. It won at Cheltenham last week. And it was called My Face. And is anybody listening or not? Is it just me on my own? Anyway, Margot Robbie, I trained this horse for her, and we bought it. I named it for her. She said, "Isn't that lovely? You named it My Face. Is that because of me?" I said, "No, but when you get to the races, you'll really appreciate it, because everybody will be shouting, Adam Hudson, he got it. He got it. He got it, look. Shouting, come on my face. My face. Never mind. Anyway, I thought we'd just throw in a clang there for just to start the evening off. So, right, Graham, it's nice to have you in the house and live. You're a very active member on Patreon. And how long have you been following me, Graham? I'm been with us following me on YouTube.
Right. I started watching quite a lot of YouTube towards the Christmas before your Facebook thing your YouTube got today.
Right.
I was having, with my illness, I was having a bit of a crap time. So I thought, I can't get out much, so I'll start watching. And I found various things. Found yourself, and I thought, I like this because you were showing the bits in the middle. Everybody else was, here we start, here's the end, where's the middle, and stuff like that. And then I thought, there's lots of these to go through. And probably about 2 weeks later, it vanished.
Right.
And that's when you had your, it got shut down. So then you started Patreon. So I thought, well, the only way to carry on is I join Patreon. I've been with it ever since.
Right, that's lovely. So you've been with us about three years then. I think it's 3 years. We're into our 3rd year, aren't we? 4 years, Sue says. 4.
Yeah. I know when I signed up, it was a very new thing. I thought, oh, crikey, I'm in really, because I think I was number 9.
Was you? Number 9 in the group, yeah.
Yeah.
So what, I mean, what sort of dogs have you got?
Right. I'm sort of retired, and I'm running out of dogs because I'm on my last Labrador, who's 12 and a half now.
Right.
The poor old bug's gone a bit. He's a little bit deaf, but he's gone very blind, and he's got a bit very wary of going through gaps. So I think his peripheral vision is gone. Yeah. I have the same problem. Well, the same problem with the previous one. He went a little bit like that with his peripheral vision.
With his age again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same age.
So how long have you had dogs, Graham? Dogs.
Gundogs in the proper sense of it, probably the last 16, 17 years.
Right. And so you used to shoot, and you used to go on shoots, did you?
Well, yes. Funny story in a sense, because I used to do. I got involved in quite a few country things, and I then went off and started doing a bit of play shooting, and that led to oh, come and have a go at this, come and have a go at that. And I quite enjoyed that. And then one of my lads decided he'd leave school and go to Hartbury College to do, I call it gamekeeping, they call it wildlife and countryside management diploma, or whatever you want to call it. And he did that. And so quite a lot of his mates then, oh, can we learn to shoot and all that? So I said, oh, I can take you up to the clay club where I go shooting.
Yeah.
And did a lot of that. And then we get a lot of invitations to go here, there, and everywhere doing that. And so this is where the Gundog bit comes in. He then went and did a work placement with the deer keeper at Berkeley Estate,
right,
in Gloucestershire. Ricky there had dogs for getting the deer rather than pheasants and the like, but he had chocolate labs, and so David was there for 2 weeks and come back. I need a dog. I like this one. There's a puppy going. So we ended up getting a chocolate lab, which he trained and took and did college. It turned out to be a very good dog.
Right.
No noise at all.
Lovely.
It only ever barked, to my knowledge, once when I was at the Clay Club. And everybody was like, blimey, he's barked.
Yeah.
And it's because one of the guys who was a taxi driver came in and said, well, he's sussed him out then, hasn't he? So, yeah, that's that. When we had that one, because he was going off to college with that, the other partner said, oh, he's unlonely. So we ended up getting another dog. We rescued her from the local pound, and that worked out very well. So the two of them were in the kennel together. And then I used to go off, and he was off at college and doing things. And then he changed direction of his career. He decided to go into arboriculture. Right. So that meant the dog stayed a lot of time. So when I took early retirement, I said, right, you're going into arboriculture. I can put my pension pot and I'll invest it in your new business. So off he got and bought some machinery. Yeah. Chip, stump grinder, the rest of it. And I'd go with him and he'd go do the tree surgery. He'd climb up the tree, and I had the easy job, stop at the bottom, look up the tree. You want to go on that branch and cut that, do that, and take the dogs. And wherever we were, the dogs used to love it because they would be good. They would just sit quietly. Yeah. No trouble at all. Then a little bit later on, over the road had got a puppy lab, and the little girl was unfortunately allergic to dogs. So she come knocking on the door and said, well, you've got two, would you like another one? And so my partner said, well, why didn't you have a dog? So I ended up with the one who's now my last dog. Right. So in all my life, I have never actually gone out and actively sought to get a dog. They just come your way. Yeah. And he's been a good dog. I mean, I used to like it because I could take the three when we used to go out in the woods and that, and they would work together and be quiet and flush stuff. And to be fair, I could probably more once we got into wood than doing woodland management, squirrel shooting and the like, and then a bit the odd thing for the pot. Yeah. And that's that. So that's my sort of history with my dogs. Unfortunately, health got in the way, didn't it? Yeah, that really. But that's why I took early retirement. My health deteriorated. I got to the point I felt I'm a square peg in a round hole here, and ultimately they're not going to be very happy. And then where I worked, the computer system came and they said, "Oh, you can now have 2 screens, and you no longer have paperwork. So you look at one, look at the other." I thought, time to go. So do you mind talking about your health or not? Is it a subject? No, right. I don't mind talking about it at all. So how? Because I know you've said to me before that you actually don't go out with your dogs on shooting anymore because of your health, but you love watching the videos, and that's why you came in, and it gives you something to do. And you've stuck with it for all this time, so that's absolutely fantastic. So, what stopped you? Why did it stop you with your health then, Graham? What was wrong? Right. Well, I went, I was about in my early 40s, and I used to go I used to go up to a couple of shoots on the Cotswolds on the top, and we sort of pushed the big sort of flat up there. And I got to the point, I thought, I can't even keep up with these old fellas.
Yeah.
You know, we walked 7 miles or so across the fields and in a line, and we just basically pop shot and walk them up. And so I went to see the doctor, and I then got diagnosed with diabetes, which then affected, because my joints were buggered up because I did too much sport as a youngster, and that kicked in with the arthritis, and it just gradually deteriorated to the point where I then became, as I see it, I'm unreliable. I can't give I'll see you at such and such, I'll do that on that day. I can't say I can do it, because if I have a bad turn, I ain't able to do it.
Yeah, yeah.
Then the worst part's been this blasted COVID rubbish.
Yeah.
Where I got about 18 months ago, and I've been diagnosed with a long COVID and told me my breathing doesn't work.
Yeah.
To give you an idea, you know, you feel that the background before the houses were built was a good idea. If I walked from the bottom up the hill to where the little stile was, by the time I got to the top of there, I'd have to sit on that stile.
Yeah.
Get some.
Yeah.
That's how crap I got. And it's just annoying.
Yeah, horrible, isn't it?
So it curtails it so much of what you can actually do. But I always think, try to be upbeat about it. There's a lot more buggers worse off than me.
Yeah, because I mean, you're a very active member in the group. You give so much encouragement to people, and you give your opinion when you watch a video, and I think that's really good that you do. And it's like you're looking at it from a different angle than some people who are out. They've got a problem dog, or they need to train a dog. You're doing it for enjoyment of watching other people gain knowledge and improve with their dogs, and so you've come into it slightly different than a lot of people. But I think it's a really nice thing, and that's why I asked you if you'd like to come on to the live feed, just to explain to people who don't know, because some people in the group are active members and they know that your health has let you down. You know, as the same as me with COVID, but you're a very valued member of the group because you interact with everybody, and I think most people in the group appreciate. Well, I think most people. I'm talking here on what I'm thinking, but I think most people in the group appreciate you for your input into what you do for the group and how you get involved. As Adam says, you're a really valued member, and I think it's really, really nice that you get an enjoyment from sitting watching those videos. It gives you something to get up for, gives you something to do in life, and I think that's a great thing, isn't it, for everyone to know that.
Yeah, I've been quite. I mean, you know, that technically I'm classed as what they call as disabled with, you know, a hidden illness, but I don't mind people knowing what's what. I just do what I can. There's limitations to things in everything I do. I mean, one of the things I do, which I quite enjoy doing, I've been, I don't do it quite so much now, a foot follower of the local hounds. We got, of all things, basset hounds around here. Yeah. It's great to go out and watch them. Yeah. The hares. They very rarely catch anything. But the nice thing about that is you go out, you meet nice country people, you can go and do that. You might walk a little bit, stop, observe. Yeah. Rest, walk a bit more, stop, observe. I can cope with that. Yeah. But even there, I come back and I've done a day of that. I think, crikey, I took about 5,000 steps today. Yeah. But it's all in stages. So, and you get to the point where you realise that if you want to do a certain job, you go so far and then say, no, I've got to stop. My body has said, stop. Yeah. Don't do a bit more. Stop. I mean, a good example today, we had a couple of sacks of coal come. They're 2 20-kilo bags of coal. I put them on the sack truck and wheel them round, put them by the coal bunker and thought, right, I'll go sit down for a minute. I'll put them in the bunker in a minute. 10 years ago, I'd stick one under each arm and walk around the side of the house.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's the thing, isn't it? Yeah. And I think that some people can be lucky and get away with it. And some people like don't really look after their body, but still get away with it. And other people can go out of their way, look after themselves, keep themselves fit, and then be lucky, can't they? So it's pot luck, really, isn't it, when it comes down to it?
Yeah, I mean, the arthritis I've got is probably from the fact that I left school and I went and did engineering, and then I had an interest in water stuff, and so I answered an advert in the thing, and I became a scout leader, and then I ended up being the Sea Scout leader for Gloucester.
Oh, right, lovely.
I used to take the kids out, and it's great to see them get stuff like they're doing. Well, basically water-based, obviously. But I had one lad, and I always think of this. He'd never been in a canoe. He'd never been outside Gloucester. He'd come from quite a deprived area, but we went to scout camp. We always used to go to Marlow because they had the National Scout Boating Centre there in the early 80s. And he'd never been in a canoe, and he watched the others doing stuff, and they could book stuff out. And he kept looking, and he was determined. And it took him 4 days, but after 4 days, he said to me, "Look, I can now do it."
Lovely.
An esky bowl.
Yeah.
And come up. And I thought, well done, you. Yeah, it's little things like that. I get a lot of pleasure in seeing them achieve.
Yeah, yeah.
But of course, doing water sports, I used to do gig racing and sailing. It's all strains on your joints and your damp.
Yeah, yeah.
Not the best recipe. But yeah, that's what I did in the early 80s. The other thing I've done after the Scouts, I used to do quite a bit of off-road motorcycle racing and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, that's not good for your joints either.
No.
So about early 30s, I thought.
So how old are you, Graham?
I'm 65 this year.
65, right? Yeah, because it's funny, isn't it? The things you just mentioned, the canoeing, I did that at Scouts. That was water sports. I then got involved with girls with different sort of water sports. Sorry, Graham. And then I did exactly what you said, motorbikes as well, scrambling, off-roading.
Yeah.
This is before we had the internet, Graham. So we had to do things in them days. Yeah,
I mean, I then gave up the bike, and then when the boys got to the point where they want to go to college and want to have about the bike again, I thought, sorry, I'll have a little 125 just to potter around on for a bit of a laugh.
Yeah,
and I got that, and I was pottering around, going, ain't got enough to go. Anyway, I don't know, for I had a 650 Suzuki.
Yeah, that's the way, isn't it? That's the way.
Yeah, but that's all gone now. I got rid of my trials bikes because I thought, no, my knees can't do the standing up, So I ended up, the boys had them, and just I had a bit of a restoration and get them going for them. Yeah,
yeah, lovely.
I enjoyed fiddling more than I actually enjoyed riding. It's a bit like I go to the clay club. I enjoy doing the other side of it.
Yeah.
Rather than actual shooting.
Helping out, like setting up the clays and all that. Yeah, yeah.
I try not to load clays too much. I've been doing that about 30 years. I started and got, you're somebody who does something. Come on the committee. You want something doing. I got with the committee, and then I became the secretary because I did admin. I moved into pen pushing them the career, and then we got litigation come up, so I went through the process and I converted Clay Club into a public limited company with guarantee. First of all, in case anybody shot anybody, they didn't get sued. And then we leased the site at the moment, and so I drew up the lease and did that with the council.
Lovely.
Because that's my other bread and butter. So after doing engineering, I went into the legal profession.
All right. Yeah.
And so before I finished, when I retired, I spent quite a lot of time allocated to the customer service, advising solicitors how to do their bloody job.
Did you see that? Did you see that Tommy Robinson has won a court case against the police? Where
yeah.
did you? It's absolute farce, and at the end of the day, it just the reason I mentioned it is you said solicitors, and that it's a funny old thing, isn't it, that the police decide to act on somebody who can actually want to go and be a journalist. There's no qualification to be a journalist, to be a reporter.
No.
And I think that for the police to say you can't do that is stopping someone's rights, isn't it? And then to pepper spray him so close and class him as creating a problem, when I actually watched the whole video live and he wasn't creating any problem. I don't care about his past. Whatever he did in his past, I don't really know what he did in his early days. But I just think the way they went after him and what was said in court and what's come up at in court, it make the police look absolutely ridiculous, doesn't it? The police, they just are law unto themselves. Then they lost all the footage, the camera footage, and the bloke who was making the statements, the policeman making the statements, said, "I'm sorry, but I was dyslexic, and I didn't get the dates right and all this stuff." He got the wrong dates and everything. It just got laughed at. But it cost Tommy Robinson £30,000 to defend himself in court for doing nothing wrong. And that's what the courts do. They jack it up and make it more and more expensive for the average person. How could the average person afford £30,000? Now, Tommy Robinson has been asking for donations for his solicitors and his costs and everything. I actually sent him a small amount because I feel that why should we be bullied into what the police want us to do when it's not the law? You know, if you follow the law, that's one thing. But if the police can't follow the law and they take the law into their own hands, and then they lie and cheat when it comes to taking someone to court and make false statements about people, and then lose the footage on purpose because they know the footage would have proven that he was attacked by the police when he was doing nothing wrong. There was no threat from him at that point. And I thought to myself, isn't it disgraceful how the police act when they want to, isn't it?
Well, well, not me being involved with the police, but because I've been doing the for long. If anybody does that certificate renewal, can you sign me form for the shotguns?
Yeah.
And then our local police, which is Gloucestershire, have a thing called Firearm Forum, where they supposedly every 3 months, but it's more like every 9 months, invite all club secretaries, any gun shop owners to go to the forum and they have a discussion. The bizarre thing is they have the firearms inquiry officers, and you wouldn't think they were on the same team as the firearm department.
No.
They're in a pitch fight within the bloody meeting.
Yeah.
It's absolutely bizarre. I've got one guy who's taken 2 years to get his grandson a shotgun certificate. They ended up, Bash took them to court and they lost.
Yeah.
They argued he wasn't responsible enough. There's no age, there's all this. It's all the opinion. And I had no end of issues with that. Anyway, because it was so bad, the judge ordered the police to pay the costs.
Good. I mean, that's what they should do, isn't it? They should. But isn't it funny, Graham, that the main media ain't running with it? The independent media who go on the internet and plug these things are actually showing what happened to Tommy Robinson. But all they keep saying is Tommy Robinson thug this, thug that. When in fact, a lot of what Tommy Robinson said about the Muslim grooming gangs and all this is exactly as it is. And I think to myself, why don't the media run with this and go, Tommy Robinson has been cleared of any wrongdoing, and technically he should be able to sue the police now for wrongful arrest, keeping him out, giving him an order to keep him out of London, assault, really, pepper spraying someone within a foot of the person when they've already got their arms tied up by other police officers, and then somebody comes in and pepper sprays you. It's totally wrong, isn't it? It's totally wrong.
Yeah, he said I was having a breakfast in the pub,
That was it. It was a hell of an expensive breakfast in the end, wasn't it? I mean, and if he hadn't got the funding and the backing that he's got from people, then he wouldn't have been able to defend himself there. He'd just have to take the guilty charge, wouldn't he? And that's the problem with courts, isn't it? They know they can string it through courts and just make it very, very expensive. Unless you've got the right solicitors, if you just get a judgy solicitor, you don't stand a freaking chance. That's the problem.
No.
That's the problem.
I know, it's the law's a funny thing. Yeah.
If we go back to dog training for a minute, what do you...
Right,
go on.
Go on. I was going to say a little bit when the first dog I sort of inherited.
Yeah.
When I this is.
Was it left in a will?
No. Late 70s. My girlfriend at the time, who I ended up marrying in 1980, so that's where we are. She wanted a dog, and her father he'd been with his father on the canal boats, doing chocolate between Bourneville, which had a depot down on the Sharpness Canal down in Costa, up towards Birmingham. And so he said, as we got allotments at the back of their place, he wants someone that will get the rats. So the other day, we ended up getting, or she got, an Irish Terrier bitch.
Right.
And that was her dog. Anyway, we then got married in 1980, and then she and a couple of her friends decided they wanted to go into this dog showing thing, you know. And so the next thing, over a period of time, we ended up with a house full of Lasso Apsos, Dougal dogs.
Right.
So I was then, well, I'll have the Lasso Apso, you can have the Terrier. Right, that was all right. I used to enjoy taking the Terrier. I used to take the Terrier when I did the scout stuff and all the rest of it. Great stuff. Well, we used to go weekly to a local dog training thing where they went for the show stuff. But at the same time, outside, there was a guy called Mike, and he had German Shepherds, and he was teaching them the obedience and all stuff like that. And I used to just go watch them doing that. And he said to me, "Oh, you got a Terrier there, right, to bloody train." I said, "Oh, well, fair enough." He said, "Why don't you have a go at it rather than just sit in there?" So I said, "All right." So I actually joined in with that, and I got the Terrier to what I thought was a good standard. Just doing the obedience, you know. You could put her in another room, say, "Stay, leave her, come back in quarter an hour," she wouldn't move. All stuff like that. She was a great dog. But one thing that dog did, it absolutely loved the tennis ball. Absolutely bloody loved it.
Yeah.
So, that was good in that sense. And that dog, I ended up taking her to the vets for her last trip when she was 17. But a lovely dog. She'd have stuff, rats and stuff. No. We did at one time have next door come round because there was a kerfuffle in the garden. I said, "Oh, I'm ever so sorry." I said, "My dog got round the back there and it's had that fox that was in your bin." So Mark said, "Oh, what are you going to do with the fox?" I said, "I don't know." He said, "I'll tell you what." He said, "I'll take it up to the factory tomorrow and chuck it in the skip."
Yeah. Steve,
so that was my first sort of dog.
Steve Pace says it's really good to get an insight into fellow members' lives. That's what Steve says, and he's right. I mean, the first dog I ever had was an Afghan, and it got deported. Yeah. So.
Oh yeah, it was quite fun actually. I don't know if some of the members don't know this, but then you remember the car called a Hillman Avenger?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Right. Well, we had one of them, and it was how we get to transport the dogs. Bear in mind, also Lasso Apsos and the Terrier. So what I did, I took the back parcel shell cardboard out at the top, and there was holes where the speakers would have been and bits and that. And I then got a nice piece of carpet, cut it to size, and I used to just chuck them all in the boot. And you'd be going along, if you stopped all of a sudden, it'd be like little heads pop up. But I tell you what, you go up to the field and open the boot, and people do it, and say, "What the dog's been out that boot for?" But it worked.
Yeah, yeah.
No dog traits in them days.
No, and you know what? These days people would go freaking mental, wouldn't they? They'd report you these days, wouldn't they? They go freaking mental. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think about looking around on the internet? Have you found anything as good as the Corleone way, the way we teach, and or anything that really interests you with other dog training, Gundog trainers I'm on about, or do you think they're sort of they don't seem to want to give the full story? What do you think?
They don't give the full story. A lot of the time it's, oh, I took this out. Oh, isn't this wonderful? And I'm quite sure a lot of it's over staged to get bloody ticks and all the rest of it. But I do quite like watching, for the comedy side of it, the Americans when they go out.
Yeah.
After whale and things like that in the undergrowth. I mean, there's one I saw, I thought, bloody hell, they rushed the pheasant, and I thought, I could have nearly hit that with a gun rather than shoot it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And not being funny, Graham, but the standard of their training isn't particularly good, is it? Neither.
Oh no, it's all shouting and bawling, everything's running around everywhere.
And as soon as a bird gets up, the dog runs in. They carry on firing, don't they?
Oh yeah. I'm surprised they don't shoot more of their dogs. Maybe they do. I don't know.
They got a load of them.
Yeah, but they just seem very, very well. I mean, I like seeing that. I enjoy that. I like watching the hounds working. I like watching dogs and tracking as well.
Yeah. I watch so much on the internet, and it's all interesting for me because I like training. So I came from a little bit of background of sheepdog training, coming from the Midlands, and I thoroughly enjoyed that side of it as well. But once I got into the Gundog training, I then went and got a gun. Like yourself, you were talking earlier about clay shooting. I've been clay shooting, but it's not my cup of tea. Some people absolutely love it, don't they? And some people would never shoot a bird, but they'll shoot clays. And other people love both, don't they? Some people just do it for the guns, the shooting. And I found that the dog training is special to me, the training and helping people train their dogs. But I know the importance of, if you're going to run your dog in competition, how it's important that you can shoot over your dog or have your dog shot over on a regular basis if you want to win competition. Because without any experience of that, you don't stand much of a chance, like you know.
No. I mean, I to be fair, I do play with my mates and the barracking is out of this world.
There's enough barracking in our group, isn't there? We don't have a laugh, don't we? Eh? And that's part and parcel of it as well, isn't it, Graham? Having a good group of people minded and having a crack.
Yeah. You know, like in the group, like I say, like when I go to the clay club in the group I'm in, we go shooting, you're not going to be looking over, did I say the wrong thing? Have I upset somebody who's got bloody offended and all that malarkey? You don't need it, and we don't get that. So, you know, it's a little sanctuary away from the madness of today, a lot of this.
Yeah. So what did you think about when you first came over to Patreon and you saw me showing people how to use discipline? Do you think that's part and parcel of it, Graham, or has it opened your eyes to the level of discipline you've got to use on the odd occasion, but it's knowing how to use discipline? How have you seen that coming from a different sort of direction than a lot of people?
Just a problem at all. If it's warranted and it fits in, fine. But I think there's too much of, oh dear, he's going to be upset. They don't think the same as us to dogs.
No.
And I can't stand these people who dress the bloody thing up and, oh, look at this, it's got this outfit. Oh, for God's sake, he's a bloody animal.
Yeah.
To me, they've lost the bloody plot. The dog will never do anything for you probably like that, because it gets, oh, it's upset now. Well, no, it's not upset. It doesn't know to be upset like you. They give it like a human character.
Yeah, they treat it like a human, don't they? Yeah. Well, it's like a fur baby, isn't it? It's as simple as that, isn't it?
Oh.
That's the right word for it, isn't it? It's like wrap it up and fur baby. And let's be honest, if you want to get people to go and give you a like, get a freaking puppy, put a puppy under your arm and keep putting up photo after photo after photo of a puppy, because that's like a babe magnet, isn't it? It's a babe magnet. You'll get the girls loving it. I mean, I used to go disco dancing with a puppy under my arm. The only problem is I made a mistake. I went with a black one for about 6 weeks and it never worked because they couldn't see it in the disco. So I got myself a ginger one in the end. So I think Kara's talking about his missus. She's got good drive, but not much stamina. No, I don't know what she's talking about. I'm talking about something. They're all laughing. I think Karen's talking dirty. She had good drive, but not much stamina. She's talking about a dog. I don't know what she's talking about.
No, because Karen was saying about the first dog he got, and Karen said the first dog I ever had, she was 22 stone. You could only see my feet when I was under her. And it's come from that.
Oh, right. So, and that's being derogative about women. Dog. We'll all be in freaking trouble in a minute, Karen. I was talking about my first dog. We've all been there, Karen. Stop it. Go on.
Just, I mean, where I live, I'm on the edge of Gloucester, not far from the M5, fully enough. And where when I first came to Gloucester was fields.
Yeah.
Be over it. And now they've built a housing estate where I live. But we go over the park and you get people, they got harnesses with double leads on.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
And yet there's a sign that says your dog must be on a lead in the park. Well, all I do with the one I got now,
yeah,
I got a bit like race magic lead. I just got a lead like that with about a foot. And I take him and he just walks with me. As far as I'm concerned, he's on a lead.
Yeah.
There's a problem.
Yeah.
At the end of it.
Yeah.
He don't bother anybody else.
That's it.
I have the dog up and I just say, look at them, and you just look at them and carry on with me.
Yeah.
And what goes on, if I say, just to keep telling him, come on, let's go for a walk around the block, and he'd win it.
Yeah.
And when I used to 3 of them, they were like that.
It's very flat where you are, isn't it? It's not many hills, is it?
Oh, well, we're flat where we are, but if you look out the one side, you can see the biggest escarpment of the Cotswolds.
Yeah, and you got the Mendips near you, haven't you?
No, they're a lot further south.
Oh, lots further south. So do you know Dr. Foster?
It's a pub in the docks.
No, because Dr. Foster went to Gloucester in a shower of rain. He stepped in a puddle right up to his middle and never went there again. And and I thought that's because Gloucester was really flat.
No. Gloucester's weird. You got the forest on one side of the River Severn, and you need your passport to go in there. But you never mention the bears, because some of them got 6 toes. You got the other side. You got the hill go up the escarpment, and then it just slowly slopes down all the way across Oxford to London. Right.
Yeah. Right.
The local landmark that's close to me, which is quite famous, is a pub called the Air Balloon Hill, where they always used to get breakdowns. And as long as I've been living here, they've been going to put a new route, and it finally started it. That goes up to the top and then heads down towards Cirencester and Swindon.
Right.
But the thing that's right by me, which will interest some of you, is that on Maybank holiday, we have Cooper's Hill. We have the cheese rollers.
Oh, I've seen that. Freaking mental.
They're nuts.
They are. They get injured. They're all coming down them hills, don't they?
Yeah, that hill is bloody steep.
They just throw themselves off the hill chasing a roll of cheese, isn't it?
The big roll of cheese comes down. They go tanking down, and there's bodies and bones everywhere.
Is it Gloucester cheese? Because I was asked, is it Gloucester? He needs to get some.
It's a big thing of double cheese, but these days they make something so it doesn't break or something, because you got to go vegan or whatever. But it used to always be double Gloucester. But I'd get
Edam, because they're pink and they're covered in that red stuff, and you can just roll that really well down the hill, couldn't you?
Yeah. But they get the local rugby teams bottom, and they're catching them.
Mm.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And carry them to the ambulance.
Yeah. I have seen it, the telly.
Yeah, well, I can just about see that from the garden.
Oh, lovely. Yeah.
Right, you need binoculars to see him coming down, but you can't get near it. It's such an attraction.
Are you rural then? Are you rural? Are you out in the countryside a little bit? Or
well, I'm about 100 yards from the M5, and where we go from the M5 is where the city turns into the town.
Yeah, right.
And the countryside, because it's the new sort of tiny bit out there, but we are the city boundary. We're lucky because down where the motorway is, there's all along there's nature reserves, because it's sites of special scientific because of the meadows.
How far are you from that Wicker Man and that and there's an elephant in, as you go up the motorway, you can see it from the side. Do you remember whether you saw the Wicker Man?
Oh, that must be 40, 50 miles south of me.
All right, further up. I'm just trying to work out, roughly where you are. Yeah.
I mean, where I am, it's the high. Well, apart from the 2 Severn bridges, it's the next navigable bridge across the Severn.
Right, I'm with you now. Yeah.
And then you go further up. We're central. The county is really split in half because of the Severn.
That's it. I know you mean now. Yeah.
So that's where I am. I mean, I'm should we say naturalised down here, but I actually come from up Yorkshire.
Do you?
Yeah.
You haven't got a Yorkshire accent, have you?
No.
It's more Gloucester, isn't it? You could definitely tell it's more Gloucester area, sort of. Yeah.
Blame my parents.
So you come from where originally?
Well, I was born in York.
Oh, York, right? Yeah.
Yeah. But my maternal family comes from Malton in the North Yorkshire Moors.
Right. Yeah.
And that's the one thing I do regret with the dogs is I never really got much chance to speak to my grandfather, because my father used to go out with his dad and others, and they were typical of what I might call that part of the world. They used to go to the working men's club, fat cap, and they all had a whippet.
Right.
And they go poke. I've seen a couple of photos. It's quite funny to look at.
In the 70s, I used to like going to the strip clubs with a whippet, wasn't it? So tell me, how can we improve the group, Graham? Because I asked this other people as well. How do you think we can improve the group?
Well, I think there's certainly a good quality and quantity of videos going up, but I think if we had a few more put their work out there, or I don't say put their work out there, but manage to film themselves and put stuff out there, because for the size of the group, I would say there's more than at the max 20, 30 people we've actually seen being filmed, showing the videos. A bit like Sunday nights.
Yeah.
It's open to everybody, and there's a dozen or so usually. Yeah.
And it's quite surprising, really, with the amount of work you put in. If those videos were all up on YouTube, I'd be absolutely watched like crazy again, wouldn't I? Because there was just that much of it. I could flood the internet again, couldn't I? Like I did. And I was the most watched Gundog trainer on the internet for years. No one else was filming their dog or filming clients and stuff like that. I sort of set a precedence to a certain degree, but everybody seems to be on the internet now, showing dog training or talking about dog training, isn't it? I watch some of it, and I think to myself, I'm looking for something new. I'm looking for the next level of education, knowledge. It's not out there, Graham. It's not out there. They seem to hit a certain level, and no one else wants to sort of really get involved. I've not found anything that I find, oh, this guy really knows what he's talking about. He really got dogs superior to everybody else. This is the guy to follow. I would tell people to follow him. As simple as that. because I believe that you should always have an open mind and be willing to listen. But so many people are being dragged down that positive only route. Even in the Gundog world, you've got people, and then you've got people talking about it, saying that these dogs can't handle pressure anymore. Well, that's exactly about society, isn't it? Society can't handle pressure because you can't offend. The police are policing the internet. I thought they didn't have any manpower. Why are they sitting policing the internet in case you get offended? There's plenty of things on the internet I see, and I think, oh, that's not for me. I just freaking switch on to something else. I don't have to get triggered and write about it and complain about it and phone the police and say I'm triggered. It's freaking ridiculous. It's with society these days, isn't it?
Yeah. I think one of the reasons could possibly be because of the attitude of society these days. People might not say, oh, I won't want to put that up, might show something, I might get backlash or something because I've shown something that's upset somebody and all that. Well, that could curtail people, whereas I think we're in the group because it's not big wide world and we don't have any idiots going, oh, I don't like that sort of stuff. You'll get more in there, but you can go a little bit, obviously not go totally over the top, but you can go reasonable, what a reasonable people would see, rather than some of the stuff that's so wet that you have the issue with it. And that's why I think this is where you going, oh, hang on a minute, you're going to go, we can't show that, that's against our community standards.
Do you think, though, Graham, that a lot of people are playing the game, and what they're realizing is if I show every aspect of dog training and say I'm part of everybody's group, then I can pull in more customers, I can pull in more clientele, because and all I've got to do is say things like you've got to have an open mind, and you've got to, because not be funny, I shared something with a group the other day, and it was, someone was advertising, I'm not going to say any names, but they're advertising the Victoria Stilwell freaking training methods. Jesus Christ. I mean, not being funny. Every dog trainer I know and respect look at Victoria Stilwell with disgust. She's just a con artist who's running an academy, but you'll be amazed how many people, and I'm not being sexist, but the majority of them are women, and they want to sign up because they get a certificate, they get a photo with Victoria, because it's all about likes these days, isn't it? It's all about being wanted.
Yeah.
Do you not agree?
It's very, if you're that sad, you know, get a life.
Oh, it's lonely, isn't it? It must be lonely if you. I liked it when they give thumbs up and thumbs down on these videos. There's nothing wrong with giving a thumbs down. It means you don't like it. So, yeah. So if you're out there putting video after video on the internet and everybody's giving you a thumbs down, then that's telling you something, isn't it? But if you're getting 95% thumbs up and only a small percentage of thumbs down, then that tells you something else, doesn't it? But if you're sort of a trainer like me, who has got an open mind, who will use food sparingly, see, that's what Adam says. I always used to give you a thumbs down, and you don't mind. You don't get triggered with. You might start thinking, shit, can't be doing something right here. If you didn't have a following and all you were getting was thumbs down, that's an indication that people don't like what you're putting up, isn't it?
Mm. But you get people, I mean, something I think, oh, what? I'll go so far through something, I can't stand this crap anymore. I just stop it and go on to someone else.
Exactly. But you don't write loads of comments and like fucking try and throw something under a bus, do you? You just like move on, don't you?
No. I probably, as I got older, I got the thing a lot of things before I might get a bit fired up. I used to be quite known for speaking my bloody mind, but I now sort of go, I'll smile, say nothing, and think, you're an idiot.
I got Steve Morton here, and he says Danny Wells and James Penriff do a nice, interesting chat. That's great. If that's for you, Danny's a great trainer. I know James as well. He's a good trainer, but at the end of the day, it's horses for courses. I'm a specialist Gundog trainer, And I would like to see debate with Gundog trainers. I've listened to Danny. I've listened to James. I've promoted James, but James does things different than I do. Danny's a straight talker. I like Danny. I've done a chat with James, and James said, and I'm not being nasty in any way, I said, you're on back after the interview. And he said, I have to. And now, whether that's because of his police background at the time, I don't know. But at the end of the day, I could tell he was holding back. He wasn't saying perhaps what he really wanted to say. I'm not accusing him of anything. I'm just saying perhaps he's a diplomat. He's clever. He's playing the big game and knows how to play the game. Because I listen to the conversations he has and the debates he has about the e-collar. I can agree with so much of what he says. I can agree with so much of what he says, but I can disagree as well. And I think that's what we should be able to do, is we should be able to disagree and agree as trainers. There's certain things that I agree with what people say, and there's certain things I disagree. But I've actually promoted both those trainers because at least they're putting their stuff up, and you can see to a certain extent what they're like. I think you see exactly what Danny's like because Danny is what he freaking feels. And I like the fact of people like that. I like somebody who says it the way they see it, and if it offends you, it offends you, but they say it. I got all day for them sort of people. But people who are a bit more diplomatic, I think to myself, hang on, just say it the way it freaking is, really, rather than, is it about winning hearts and minds all the time? I don't know.
I think people sometimes look at it that when they have a passion for something, or the passion is the money. A lot of people do things for the money. I mean, there was that couple, wasn't there, down Somerset, where they did all that bloke with that girl who were doing all that dog stuff, and that all went tits up.
Yeah.
And they got found out, and they were all money.
I mean, Steve Morton says here, and I think Chris could do something similar, but more gun related. You can't, Steve, because people aren't willing to come on and speak the truth. People in our group have had the bottle to come on and say the way they feel, but I know so many people in the Gundog world, and I've asked them, would you like to do a live? No, I don't want to get a live feed. And if you're affiliated with the Kennel Club, you've got to be careful what you say. And that's terrible. You're bullied into, you can't say anything controversial, because it could affect your judging career. That's ridiculous. You should have freedom of speech. You should be able to speak your mind. And I know some good trainers that have said, no, I don't want to get involved. I just keep myself to myself. And I totally understand, don't get me wrong, but isn't it a shame that they won't come forward and express their true opinions on the internet?
Yeah. Yeah, Dave.
So, Graham, 52 minutes. It's gone reasonably quick, hasn't it? You've got 8 minutes. What can you tell us, Graham? Tell us some news that we don't know. Come on. Yeah, Ben Ram and Gordon Ramsay. That's nothing but a large handshake. You're right there. Come on. I want to know. I mean, Gordon Ramsay should stick to the kitchen, should he? He shouldn't be fucking talking about. He shouldn't be talking about dog training. It's like me, innit? I can cook, but that doesn't mean I'm a freaking master chef, does it?
I know what you're saying.
But then again, I have a similarities with Gordon Ramsay. I do give people a beasting on the odd occasion. Do you think I'm too hard on people, Greg? No. Do you think that some people need a direct approach if they can take it?
I mean, my father was a prison officer, and that's why we came down to Gloucester. And I think sometimes being cut inside the jail with the guys in there got him. He got a bit riley. I got to about 14 before I wasn't really too worried about him swinging around me. And I knocked him downstairs myself, and I never had any more issues with my father. But
how long was he in the prison service for?
1960 something till he went. He retired when he was 55.
No, how many years roughly?
Oh, crikey. 20 odd or something.
So he's had more porridge than the Three Bears then?
Yeah, no, he was, yeah. I mean, he used to instruct. I mean, funny enough,
I bet he had a very long chain, didn't he? His keys, didn't he? I bet he had a very, very long chain.
Yeah, chain keys, yeah.
Yeah, because every year the chain gets longer for prison officers.
Yeah.
They put the keys on the chain, and the chain gets longer. So if you've been in the game a long time, it's a massive chain that hangs off you. It's like it's a bit like having a dicky bow if you're a certain scientist, and a tie if you're another scientist. And they measure how long they've been in there with the size of the chain.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, I used to, when I was sort of 16, 17, I used to go into work with him on a Saturday, go into the jail, into the workshop. I could do stuff up there. It was good because I could make things and all sorts.
Well, in the prison?
Yeah, I used to go to prison most Saturdays for the morning with my dad.
Did he ever show you a cell, let you go in a prison cell?
Oh yeah, I've seen prison cells. I've seen where they buried them.
Where they buried them?
Yeah, down by the wall.
I went into a prison cell once, and they closed the door, and it was a school trip, and there was about 7 of us in there. And one of the lads got a pen and wrote as fast as he could on the back of the prison cell door. You know, you've got those little keyhole that you look through the keyhole on those old prison doors. Yeah. And it said, if you want to see a cunt, ring this bell. Stop it. So
the hotel now.
It was, yeah, they've done that with Bob in jail, you know, Bob in jail.
And all that, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like they used to have a really old big door, didn't they? With a hole in the door that the prison officers would look through the door at you to see if you're on the bunk or whatever. I don't know what it was, bunks or beds, whatever it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was kind of interesting because at school they took us around the prison and showed us the prison cells, and the teacher says, "Upton, that's where you're going to end up." Bastard. He can see a future for me.
Well, I have got something which is, if you're a bit into morbid stuff, is quite interesting. I managed to get a copy of the prison records for when they were hanging people.
All right, yeah.
And it's done as a scientific study. How long was the rope? How the person weighed? The result was, it snapped. They kicked for 20 seconds. All stuff like that.
I'm not, Graham. Graham, if I was hung, I would not last 20 seconds with my weight, would I?
Yeah, but yeah, it's a very interesting put together book, and I don't think it's something that they sort of like out in public circulation, but it's quite an interesting bit of kit to read and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, they got that damn bomb.
I'll tell you something else that might surprise you. When I left school, I went to the wagon works in Gloucester to do engineering, and by then it was not trains, it was tractors and dumpers and pavers and all sorts of things. So I learned when I left school to go and make tractors of all things.
Right.
And that was at Gloucester Wagon Works. There was a famous person from Gloucester who taught smithing.
Right.
And you guess who that is?
Not in the slightest.
No, but I bet Jude will know.
Well, would you know?
He knows everything.
All right. Jules will know everything, she says. I don't know. Go on, Graham. Tell us. There's 15 people here, all waiting with suspense. Come on, tell us.
Fred West.
Frickin' hell, Fred West.
Taught me blacksmithing.
He taught you blacksmithing?
Yep.
Not at big holes.
No.
Bloody hell, eh? Fred West. Hey, I've never guessed that.
Yeah.
Well, look at that, everybody. That is something new, isn't it? Fred West rubbed off on Graham.
Jesus, Fred.
He was part of my education.
He was what?
Part of my education.
Was he very nice?
It's a nice book, actually.
Yeah. Just to blokes, not girls. Was it girls he buried?
Yeah. The house where he was is all been knocked down now, but yeah.
Peter Piper reckons he was a brilliant nighttime gardener.
There's a bit more to this.
Well, Adam says Fred West was Graham's tutor. Lays a great patio.
He did gardening stuff and all, but there's the big mystery I never could understand when they were doing things later on.
Did he have you mixing concrete?
No, yeah, well, there's all that, but no, part of the blacksmith shop was attached. They had a big fly press, and they used to heat up these, what was a H beam of metal to make the big beam on a dumper truck.
Right.
And then they had the fly press in there. They heat them up and they do them in batches. But they had to keep that going all through the night. And so if you had anything disappearing, you wanted going, that was the place to chuck it in there.
Fred West got rid of a lot of things, didn't he?
Mm.
And they were digging up his cellar, his garden, everything, weren't they? Finding stuff. Yeah.
Oh, he did quite. He did work at the wagon works, but he was known as he was a good bloke to talk to if you wanted a bit of jobbing building doing.
Oh yeah, he loved laying concrete, didn't he?
Yeah.
Adam says, "Bet you'd shit yourself if Graham from Ground Force came to renovate your garden." Honestly, these boys. Anyway, Graham, an interesting chat tonight. I've enjoyed it. We've gone off in different tangents, and it's been quite interesting. So I hope everybody actually enjoyed that. We've gone an hour now. Give us your feedback. We've had a bit of a crack, a bit of a laugh as well. Graham can take that as well. And what about his missus? Did you have anything to do with Fred West's missus?
I met her coming to Farrick. I met her a couple of times. Met Rose.
Rose, yeah.
Yeah.
Graham, Adam Upton says Graham, who I thought was a decent guy, turns out to be a serial killer's apprentice. Well, if I'd only known this, I would have touched this subject earlier, everybody. You learn something new every day, don't you?
To be fair, Fred's done me a favour in that regard, because to be honest, I had an interesting conversation. Oh, I knew people often say, "Oh, you're from Gloucester." Yeah, what about him? I said, "Oh, he taught me blacksmithing." What?
I don't know. We learn something every day, don't everybody in our group? So anyway, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I want to thank Graham for coming on and giving us an insight into interesting chat. It says Tracy Dodds. Great chat, Graham. Wide variety of members in here tonight. Nice chat, Graham. Well, thumbs up, Graham. Hats off to you. Who's that's going to send you a spade? I'm going to send you a spade. Oh no, Julian needs great stuff, Graham. So Nigel is in the house as well. So thanks everybody for tuning in, and thank you, Graham, for Graham Allison for coming in live tonight and having a chat with us. Appreciate it, much appreciated.
Jolly good.
Cheers. So I've ended it now, Graham.